Yo. What's good, man? This is your boy at DFSMasterMind _ over on Twitter. Thank you for clicking on the video. Today's date is September the 14th. We finna hop into it, man. This is gonna be the targets video, man. I want to recap week one, and then I want to let you know some of the games I'm looking at for this upcoming week, man. Try to help you get to the green line. But starting off, my week one was not successful. I got to the green line in a few spots. I think I had two of my four lineups cash. But I lost money, man, because the lineups that did very well was my lower price tournaments, and then my big boy tournaments. I did so bad, man. I did super terrible in those. And that happens sometimes, man. That's why I try to keep the number of people I play to a minimum. I like to just really key in on some guys, and so that way if I win, I win. But it really hurts when you lose, man. Especially if you do one lineup and then an injury happen. You'll be like, man, come on. But, it's why we play, man. It's always afternoon slates or Sunday slates. So, but yeah, we finna hop into it, man. Recap. Russell Wilson, that was my #1 quarterback for last week, and he did terrible. The Seahawks in general looked bad, but I thought the whole game would have a lot more production in it, man, and it just didn't. The whole week one was terrible. All of week one, it was bad, man. It was super low scoring. Last year, week one outscored this year's week one by like 30-something touchdowns. That's a huge difference, man. But when we're starting off on week one, all we have to go by is last year's stats, man. And then even week two, we don't want to solely base it on 1 week. So you got to just take everything with a grain of salt. I wanted to target Green Bay's defense. I'm not a believer in their defense. But one thing they was able to do was get to Russell Wilson. And I think that says a lot about the Seahawks offensive line, man. They need to get ready. They need to do something. I love to see Wilson scrambling, but when he's scrambling not to get sacked, that's not a good feeling, man, and it makes playing defense a lot easier. So I'm aware of what happened, and then of course it's week one. Maybe teams got the jitters. They trying to work out kinks, but yeah, it was a very disappointing week for me, man. But yeah, Wilson did terrible. I also recommended Palmer. He did awful through 3 picks. I think he threw a touchdown in garbage time. Detroit's defense looked okay, but not anything like nothing elite, man. So I didn't understand that one. It was just a bad week, man. So we have to take that with a grain of salt. I recommended Cam Newton coming off the shoulder injury. Shouldn't have did that. The only quarterback play that I recommended that did very well was Carson Wentz. He had a good game, man. I love these young quarterbacks who are just full of raw talent because every year you see them make a leap, man. And I think we're going to see a huge jump from Wentz. That was the only play I had that really, that really did good. I recommended Lamar Miller. He did okay, man. If you take into context what happened in the game, you had Tom Savage, who was just running for his life. They didn't have any offense started. They bring Deshaun Watson in, and you start to see him run the ball. The golden rule, man. One unsaid rule is if you have a mobile QB, it makes running the ball a lot easier, and it makes total sense, man. It makes perfect sense. And we seen that happen. We seen Lamar Miller start to get it rolling. Who else did I have? I had Marshawn Lynch. He did okay. I wish he would have did a little more, but you can't be mad at the price point he was at. He did a-okay. I think he's gonna be fine in that Oakland offense. Receivers, I had Doug Baldwin, Paul Richardson, and John Brown. John Brown actually had a very decent day, man. on DraftKings, man, with the PPR. Caught a few passes. And then Doug Baldwin and Paul Richardson, they went downhill when Wilson couldn't get going, man. They just didn't have time, and it was just rough, dude. It was just a rough week one for me. But I'm looking forward to bouncing back, man. Hopefully y'all cash got to that green line, and if not, let's focus up and get it done this week, man. It's week 2. You know what I'm saying? So let's hop into it. Now I just want to give you a few games, man. That I really like, man. A few games I want to target heavily. Now, I'm not saying you have to get all of your players out of these games. These are just a few games that are sticking out to me. Games where I definitely want to look for some offensive presence. So starting off, man, number 2. I said number 2. The first 2, they're no-brainers, man. I think anybody who plays DFS will be able to see this. The top 4 quarterbacks on DraftKings are in both of these games. So y'all know who I'm talking about, man. Green Bay and Atlanta, and then New Orleans and New England. The New England game is at 55, right? And then you have the Green Bay game at a 53. I just got done talking about Green Bay's defense. I don't believe they're that dominant. I don't think they're that real. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing people say maybe Green Bay is taking a step on defense, and I'm just not a believer yet, man. Now, if they keep it up and they play like they was playing, maybe it's possible. But with that being said, Matt Ryan is definitely going to be in play, man. Mr. Julio Jones is going to be in play. I think we can look to the backfield too, man. Coleman, Freeman. And season long, they're a little funny, man, because they slick are splitting snaps. When everybody thought it was going to be Freeman's backfield for sure with the new coach, but you know, who knows? Hopefully for my sake, we get Coleman and keep him in that role, man. Keep him catching the passes out of the backfield, making things happen. But as far as DFS, man, I think both sides are in play. Love me some Aaron Rodgers versus Atlanta's defense. I know Atlanta's defense is A-OK. They got True Font back, man. They have a decent pass rush. You know, secondary is pretty decent, man. Pretty quick. And they can get to the quarterback, man. That's one thing that good defenses can do. But Aaron Rodgers is a surgeon, man. Like, he's gonna dot you up. So I'm not running away from this matchup. I love it, actually. Both sides, both quarterbacks, both running backs, both receivers on both sides, man. I think we can have a lot of production out of this game. Game number 2, like I said, was the New England versus New Orleans. Drew Brees at home. He's a monster. We know that. We seen Alex Smith chop up New England's defense. So I'm ready to see what Drew Brees can do, man. At home, you know, he has all the pieces. One thing that worries me about New Orleans is the run game, man. I don't know who they're going to use. It looks like Mark Ingram is going to be the lead back, but we had Kamara who outsnapped AP. Nobody saw that coming. And then, like, it's crazy, man. But they definitely have a lot of talent. I'm looking forward to watching this offense explode. And then on New England side, you get the naysayers, the haters who love to say negative stuff about the Pats, man. Whenever they lose, they just come out the woodwork, and they just want to say, man, they're not that good, blah, blah, blah. That's okay, man. That's okay. Not Drew Brees. Tom Brady is the best quarterback in the league. He's the greatest quarterback of all times. You shouldn't worry about week 1, man. Don't even sweat it. He didn't do much from a fantasy standpoint, but this week it happens, man. Like, this week he puts up godlike numbers. We seen what Sam Bradford was able to do to the Saints. So I'm just waiting, man, to see what Tom Brady does, man. Like, straight up. I think this game is a shootout as well. This is the highest total on the slate. So pile up on this game. Next game is Philly versus Kansas City. This game is at a 47. Dude, I just got scared, dude. I just seen a fly come in and it landed on my paper, and I jumped a little bit. It scared me. But this game, this game is at a 47. I think we do have a lot of potential in this game, but I think you have to be smart about it. One thing we know is that Philly's front seven is dominant, man. They're ruthless. So I know everybody's on a Kareem Hunt train, but I would slow down in this one, man. He has a tough matchup. He really does, man. But I would be willing to take a look at Alex Smith, man, versus secondary. I think he can be in play. Philly attacking Kansas City, I can see positive things from Mr. Wentz, man. I think he's in a good spot. You know, Eric Berry got hurt. He's out for the year. We're still waiting news for Marcus Peters. He kind of tweaked his ankle a little bit at the end of that last game. But if you get both of those, well, Eric Berry's definitely out. But if you get Marcus Peters and he's not playing, this could be a really, really good spot for Carson Wentz. And I like the game already. High total, like I said, anything over 45 is a good starting point for where you want to look for points, man. Offensive production. So I like both of these. I like both of these teams, man. Just be smart about it. Try to think about it. Next game is Miami versus the Chargers. In this game, their total is at a 45. So that's right at the border. You get not Carson Palmer. You get Phillip Rivers. He threw 3 touchdowns last week against an excellent defense. Miami, the jury's still out. I don't think they're that good. They have a decent front seven, man. Secondary's a little iffy. I like Phillip Rivers in this one, man. I think he's in a decent spot. And then on the flip side, Miami, this is their week 1. You know, you don't know what to expect, man. We still haven't seen Cutler in this offense in action. But I would be willing to take a chance on none other than Mr. Jay Cutt, man. I think he can be in a decent spot. I think he can make this offense work, man. He has an excellent running back playing with his old coach. This could be one to watch, man. I like this game. Jay Ajayi is definitely in play as well. I think he'll be a workhorse. Next game, we have Minnesota versus Pittsburgh. Minnesota surprised me, man. Their offense looked really, really good. Sam Bradford is finally comfortable. He finally has a team around him. And he's just super accurate, man. That's one thing that nobody would dispute. Just short routes just eating you up. I think in this game, he could show out, man. He could show out once again versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defense is not that great. We know they signed Joe Hayden, which is a big add, man. But Joe Hayden hasn't been on the field in 2 years, I believe. And then on Pittsburgh's side, you know everybody's in play, man. Minnesota's defense did look good, but I'm looking for a Le'Veon Bell bounce-back game. When Big Ben plays at the cribbo, he is dominant, man. We can always trust in Big Ben. AB, Martavius Bryant. I wouldn't play Jesse James. I don't see him having another good week like he did. But yeah, I love this game as well. And then the last one really quick. This is going to be somewhat one-sided. Arizona versus the Colts. Palmer is going to have to throw the ball, man. They're not going to run the ball 40 times this game. They're going to have to throw. And I think Palmer is in play, man. Match him up with some of these receivers. This game is at a 44, man, which is right there, man. It's almost there. So I'm gonna just take what I see. And I don't think the Colts defense is anything near dominant. So I'm going to be looking at this game, man, mainly on the Arizona side. I do think if Brissett gets in the game, if he's a starting quarterback and they, toss Tozine out, which they need to do, I do think it will open up Indianapolis's offense, man. So if that happens, I will be looking on the Colts side for maybe T.Y., a speedy guy like that. And Frank Gore, of course, I don't know how old he is, man, but he keeps chugging along. And also Marlon Mack, man, I think he's a bit of a sleeper. No, you can get him for dirt cheap, man. But yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. Until then, y'all bless up. Let's cash out.